Welcome to Holding Space. Michael Zen is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael Zen.
Yes, hello, here I am, once again, holding space. I am Michael Zinn. You heard me introduced in the intro there. I am your host. What I do here each week is I hold space. I hold space for an amazing, amazing community of people. I was just thinking about a comparison I had about the spiritual community. That's the community that I'm talking about. With the independent film community. I've been involved in independent film for a long time, and the reason I love being involved in independent film is because when you're on an independent film set, everybody there is there because they want to be there. Nobody's getting paid lots of money, usually not very much money at all, and they're there to join together and make a film. And there's like this massive connection of intention on a film set that I really love. And I realized that about the spiritual community when I'm hanging out with the spiritual community online here with you guys. There's just such an intention of being here with love, with support, to raise the vibration of the planet. This is Holding Space. This is my second show. It's the 6th episode of Holding Space. It's the second show, meaning that I started doing this stuff with the live stream of consciousness, which I'm still doing. And this platform is an amazing place to hold conversations, to hold space. That's how the name came about, to bring other people on, talk about what they do, let a viewing audience in on who they are, and kind of share the energy in an energetic exchange, I like to call it. And that's what we're going to do tonight. It's February 11th. I have a series of guests coming up for a conference that we're doing out here on the East Coast. And it's going to involve 9 very, very gifted speakers who are talking about soul care, self-care for your soul, just ways to kind of affirm yourself, to take care of yourself, to love yourself. And that's what we're doing. So I just want to say hello to Michael Christopher. Welcome, Michael Christopher. Always good to see you. And Iva is out there. Bernadette is out there. What's up, Bernadette? And whoever else is out there. If you are watching live, type in the comments #live. If you're watching the replay, type in #replay. What that does for me, for the show, for the community, is it allows the algorithm to know that there's people out there tickling on it, watching it, enjoying the moment. And really that's what this is all about. So without further ado, I'm going to hold some space. This week's guest is Jessica Specht. Jessica is a Reiki master, enlightened, divine individual who actually specializes with younger folks, with kids, which is kind of cool. I want to talk about that, learn about how they're all accepting the Reiki, how they feel about it. It's going to be an interesting conversation. So welcome to Holding Space, Jessica Specht. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you? Hi, everyone.
I'm doing great. Mike says hi as well. What's up, Mike? And Anna is watching live. I see the quiet healer out there as well. What's up, folks? Good to see you here. Good to be here with you, Jessica. So I met you recently in a committee where we're doing this event locally on the East Coast. I mean, the show is, I guess, out all over the world, but on the East Coast in the United States, we're doing a soul care conference. I'm just going to pop up the brochure there. So it's going to be in April, like I said, locally here on Long Island, but we have these wonderful, wonderful speakers, 9 beautiful women who are all kind of enlightened in their own metaphysical ways, and have their own energetic practices that they want to share with everybody. Different ways that we can connect with source and feel love and peace and better and all of that good stuff. So let's talk about you, Jessica. You are a Reiki master.
Yes.
And how did that happen? Tell me how you got into Reiki.
So it's actually such a cool and amazing story. So I started meditating probably in 2016. I am someone who struggles with anxiety since I was at the age of 5. So I was on the journey basically for many years of discovering what can help me, what can I do? And I was able to figure out meditation, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then over time, as I got more into meditation, I discovered Reiki, and I started receiving Reiki. And then I realized, oh my gosh, this is my sole purpose. This is what I'm meant to do. I felt so connected, and it really just shifted my anxiety, the grief that I was experiencing at the time, physical pain. And I was like, this is real. This happens. And I got to connect with Kristen, who owns the Grounded Soul in Sayville. And it was such a beautiful experience and such a healing experience for me. And now I'm here 3 years later and helping many people. And it's just been such a beautiful experience. And I always learn more and more each day. And it's just so awesome. I love it so much. I'm so passionate about it.
That's awesome. I mean, Reiki, I am familiar with Reiki. My partner is a Reiki master, and I had tried Reiki a few times. And Reiki was always, I mean, there is a meditative aspect to it, right? When you are doing Reiki, you get yourself into a meditative state in order to receive the Reiki. So having had some success with meditation, Reiki was always a meditative, nice, relaxing experience for me, but I didn't experience a little extra, right? Like this thing that I was expecting until I met my partner, who became my partner after that. And it was really an amazing experience once I was able to receive it, right? And I think that's probably fairly common, right? That people don't necessarily receive Reiki right away.
Yes, it is very common. Some people are a little hesitant and closed off because they're not sure what Reiki is. And once they have the experience, everyone experiences different things. Some people don't have the full experience of what they need right away, or some people release and end up discovering what is affecting their body and their emotions or what they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different for everybody, and it's completely okay if people can find it right away. Sometimes it just takes time, and everyone's on their own journey, and it's all just about the journey and not the destination right away. So it's definitely something that's very common and can happen to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I guess the reason I bring that up is because you said when you received it, you had this profound experience, and I wanted to kind of pry into that a little bit. What did that feel like? Like you said, not only did you feel the Reiki and receive it, to heal yourself, but you felt like it was a calling for you. So what did that feel like? How did you know it was a calling? What was that feeling?
So I was dealing with grief, anxiety, and physical pain at the timing. And when I received the Reiki, I felt this crazy shift. I've dealt with physical pain in my body since I was 13, and very heavily periods and period pain. So I dealt with it every single day since I was 13. I never thought that could be a release and that could be switched. So when I received the Reiki, not only did my body go into a full balanced state, I had no more pain. It just clicked and went away in that timing. So I realized, whoa, this works. So I started diving more into it. And then I knew that I always wanted to help more people and expand. And then one day while I was meditating, I just had a vision of what was coming for my future. And I saw myself doing Reiki, and I'm very spiritually connected and have some mediumship involved. So my grandmother, who was passed on, as I was like, this is meant for me, she comes in doves, and the dove came and sat on the windowsill. And I was like, okay, this is like a clear sign. And I just knew this is helping me. This is going to help others. Let me just speak my voice and be the person that I always needed for other people. And that's how I dove into it. And now I've had so many amazing experiences that like it's just mind blowing and so beautiful.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome. I feel like for me, you know, one of the things that my involvement with the spiritual community and different metaphysical modalities is the idea of energy being the source of it all. And I love that all of these metaphysical modalities are actually different ways of tapping into that energy source and expressing it. It usually involves healing, right? To tap into that source.
Yes.
But it usually involves love. You know, there's this amazing energy that comes with it. So that's really great. So you also mentioned, which is something that was kind of new to me, the connection of Reiki and mediumship. Okay, so my girlfriend also through Reiki started getting messages through Reiki. So I'm imagining, because again of my understanding of energy, is that as you're connecting with the energy of another person, you're also connecting with the energy of the energies that they were connected to. So messages come through, you know, maybe from loved ones that have passed on, or even maybe just energetic entities that are connected with that person, which is really cool. So tell me, I guess then, since I'm going to just assume that most of the audience here, I don't have to go into like the basics of what Reiki is. I'm really fascinated about the idea of Reiki with young kids and the new generation of folks who, you know, I feel like there's probably a good portion of younger folks who are connected to energetic ideas and concepts and very receptive to it. Is that what you're finding, or tell me about the whole experience?
Yes, I definitely feel there's a lot more majority of teenagers that are kind of more opening up, and I've even experienced with babies and younger children. But I feel for the teenagers, they struggle with so much anxiety and trying to discover themselves, and then they get interested of what is this? Like, what am I dealing with? How can I regulate my nervous system? Which, for people that maybe don't know what Reiki is, it's a form of energy exchange, and we have 7 main chakras in our body: the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart, the third eye, and the crown, and all those hold different energy and different emotions. So for the teenagers that are starting to discover this, and even kids, they get interested and they start to learn like more about themselves and the experience. And I've guided a lot of different people with their anxieties and discovering how they can balance it out. And I always give advice at the end of breath work can work. And as you may or may not know, I have it right here. I have a published chakra affirmation coloring book. So for the younger age of kids that want to learn, you can learn about the chakras and crystals, and then there's all different affirmations and colorings. So you can have your kid look into it and color it, and you could teach them like, these are positive words. This is how you can remind yourself on a daily basis. And then, you know, if they are interested in what Reiki is at any age, really, you could do it. Then that's where you explain to them what it is. And then they start having these profound experiences, just how I did years ago. So it's definitely a really amazing thing.
That's awesome. I just want to pop this up for a second, and I just put it into the chat room so people can click on the link if it's coming through in your chat. We're going to a bunch of different platforms, so hopefully it's coming through. But this is your coloring book on Amazon.
Yes.
Which I think is really awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I think it's really important for people to step into their power like this. And again, like this show itself is a good example of me just kind of using the tools that I have at hand to spread the message, to help try to raise the vibration. and that's great. I think Amazon, those are like some really untapped links. People are starting to find that they can publish a book and put their ideas out, and I guess the philosophy of the spiritual community is, when you put something out there, the people who are supposed to receive it will receive it, right?
Exactly.
So, and they can't receive it if you don't put it out there. So the other philosophy from the spiritual community is just show up, right? Is do the thing that you're supposed to do in order for other people to receive it. So that's cool. So fear of drowning, swimming, or love for water. Angelo is out there. What's up, Angelo? And Miranda says, great conversation, very important. Thank you very much,
Thank
Miranda. Angelo was, I'm just scrolling back here. He was making a joke earlier when I was introducing you. He says Reiki master means you've mastered the Force, or she's a Jedi. And the truth of the matter is that is definitely, I think, what the Force is based on in the Star Wars story. Is definitely based on the energy that is the universe. that resides throughout the universe that we are all a part of. So even though it's a little bit of a joke, it's actually kind of the truth.
It is true. Yes.
Yeah. So you not only do Reiki and have kind of connected with being able to connect with energy and move it around and people and use it for those different things, but you're also involved in something that I've become extremely fascinated with, and that is sound healing.
Yes.
And what I find so fascinating about sound healing is really kind of the basics that people may have seen on the internet with cymatics, with the metal plate with the sand on it, that they take a violin bow and they stroke it, or they run a vibration through it at a certain hertz, and different patterns form in the sand. And to me, I mean, it's like, why is this not more news? You know what I mean? Like, this is like evidence right there in front of us that sound waves are actually affecting matter. They're vibrating and affecting atoms and affecting matter. And this is, I guess, a basic foundation for sound healing. Why don't you tell us how you got into sound healing?
So sound healing also, I always found that I struggled with sleeping. And then I randomly came across healing vibrations on YouTube, and I was like, what is this? So I started listening to it. I was like, oh, okay, it's related to chakras, two different things. And then I was like, let me just test the sleeping. I have never slept so good in my life. And I was originally taking melatonin to sleep, and I was like, this isn't really working. I don't really feel comfortable with it. Let me try this. Because I was like, I know that we have the potential and we have the other options out there that can benefit our bodies. So I discovered the sound healing through that. And then I was like, as I was getting more diving into the Reiki and stuff, I was like, I need sound bowls. I just want to play with them to see. And then I realized, whoa, my whole body shifted. And then that's another thing that I discovered with the physical pain that I was dealing with. For me personally, it shifted how I felt in the moment. And it's been a huge guidance for me over the years. So I got connected with someone, and I got a tuning fork certified and also with the sound bowl certification. And once I started to dive into that, I was like, I can host bigger for people, have people lay back and understand that vibrational frequency is unlimited. You can have vibrational frequency with so many different tools, but the sound bowls are just so shifting. And for me, I use the crystal sound bowl. So it was all based on the different chakras. And I just love expanding, and being that I've had such profound experiences of shifting not only my anxiety, but my physical pain and my nervous system. It is known for regulating your nervous system. And a lot of people aren't fully into knowing about that. And that's such a huge thing that I love talking about, is regulating your nervous system can be difficult at first, but once you learn different tools and techniques, it could shift everything, and it takes time. But sound bowls is a huge thing that really regulates the nervous system. So that's how I kind of got into it. And now I'm certified too. So I'm going to do my 3 in a few months, and I'm hoping to host a retreat next year. So, and as we're getting involved in the Soul Conference, so I will be doing sound bowls while Missy does a guided meditation, and we're connecting to your chakras. So, be a little bit of everything. So, if anyone's free, come connect. And if anyone wants to learn more about the sound bowls, you can follow my Instagram. And I always do guided meditations on there and post videos and educate everyone about the sound bowls. So feel free to join along and learn a little bit more. But that's how I got into sound bowls.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Very awesome. And I got to tell you, I think I haven't really explored it myself as far as like practicing the sound bowls very thoroughly, right? I do have a set of bowls, and I have played with bowls, but I'm a little bit I don't want to say intimidated. I don't know what the right word is. I like to choose my words very carefully. So for me, the first time I ever experienced somebody playing a sound bowl, I literally felt like the sound was coming from inside of me. It was an amazing, incredible experience. Just processing sound in that way, right? I had never processed sound in that way, and I guess the sound bowls are tuned to such a specific frequency that, you know, they really kind of get in between the atoms and inside of your body. But I had an experience. I was at a crystal shop. Janice was doing a workshop there, and they had this bowl. It wasn't a ceramic bowl. It was a Tibetan, the metal bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I started vibrating the bowl, and it was getting louder and louder and louder, and like so loud that I had to stop because I was afraid, like at how I felt the power, and somebody was in the other room and came in and said my eyes just started watering, and I guess they had felt the thing. But so like I feel like
That's so cool.
there's something connected with me with sound healing, and I think I need to explore it a little bit more, because I feel it. Like you said, there's like this almost physical aspect to it. That's obviously physical. Sound is kind of physical, right? It's a frequency, but I mean like a physical thing. It feels like something, which is great, and I love that. So you do these guided meditations, or I guess Missy does the guided meditation while you're playing the bowls.
That's going to be our goal for the classes, and we've held a lot of different circles like that, but that's what we're going to be doing at the Soul Care Conference. And then on my Instagram, I go live and I hold sound baths, and then I do sound baths in person, and then I have specifically guided meditations per chakra on my Instagram. And then I always put educational things about sound bowls. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to just pop your Instagram up across the bottom of the screen there. So the Enlightened Soul is where you can find Jessica's Instagram, and I'm also just going to pop it up here so we can see it. So you do live healings on Instagram. Is it a specific
Yes.
time that people should look for it, or is it just kind of?
I do. Usually I do every Sunday at 8 p.m. for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I kind of go where I just feel intuitively guided, but it's usually at 8 p.m. every Sunday or every other Sunday. And I post on my stories of when it's going to be, so everyone could stay tuned if you end up following me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a chakra series going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow will be solar plexus.
Beautiful. Awesome. That's a big bowl right there. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the sound healing stuff that's going on, and it's really interesting to me in general, right? So with energy work, I've been to some recent like pranic energy sessions, and I've been to some sessions that get very, very intense, right? So it's not just almost like a one-on-one session where you're just relaxing and it's like a very relaxed kind of experience, but these are experiences where people are really looking to go into trauma and heal things, and
yes, and dive deeper.
it's very, very intense. I'm in a room full of people, and I'm just there to document, because of what I do, but also as an empath, watching these things happen and being in the presence of these energies happening is very intense. People exchanging energy with the universe, I mean, basically, and themselves, and the different levels of themselves, right? Higher aspects of themselves, lower aspects of themselves, whatever it might be that they're interacting with. And it's really intense, and I'm really excited to see it happening and people really being open to it, because it's very strange when you look at it. When you watch it, you're like, oh, what the heck's going on? What are these people doing? But I think if you're in tune with energy, you know what I mean, and you kind of understand even just a little bit what's happening, it can be very emotional. I mean, I start crying, watching this happen. Watching people going through this stuff is very emotional for me. So I can only imagine what they're experiencing at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not imagining that what you're doing is getting that intense. Or have you seen anybody react to energy?
I've definitely had a lot of different experience. Some people had so much to release in the moment that they have some people, sometimes if they have a lot of release due to trauma or grief or past things, their body will shake a little bit or move a lot because their body's releasing the energy. And I've had people cry and then like get all emotional, and then it just gets so you can like see their body changing in the moment. And I always keep an eye out on everyone and make sure that everyone, is always, I remind everyone that they're safe in my presence, and I'm always there to support people. But I've seen a lot of different experiences of people easily falling asleep, and then other people that have had extreme energy releases and they needed that, and then they express what occurred. And I always get teary-eyed after because I'm like, this is so profound. And I'm also, my full-time job is an aide for special needs adults with autism. And so the one thing that I discovered through my certifications is how sound healing can help the autistic community and how it regulates their sensory issues. And last year I had the most amazing, beautiful experience of holding a sound bath at Caffeine Academy in Babylon. And there was a lot of different people that attended that had different sensory issues, struggled with different things. So I arranged everybody comfortably in the room. And there was one teenager that was hyperactive and jumping around all the time. In the first minute, fell asleep.
Wow.
And it was just so amazing. And then after, they were asking questions and wanting to play with my sound bowls. And I've always dreamed of combining the two. So it was just the most beautiful experience.
Wow.
And now, like, I do Color Me Calm classes with everyone, anybody in the special needs community. Everyone's welcome. So I've been getting more involved in doing that and just have everyone experience their own experience with sound healing, with coloring, with energy.
That's amazing. What a amazing amazing way to focus what you're doing, you know what I mean, and to take your own fascination with it and your own connection with it and connect it to that. Like you said, you've always had that dream and you're doing it. That's amazing. Congratulations. Manifestation is a beautiful thing when it happens, right?
It is. It is so beautiful. It's like I'm living my dream right now, and I always like cry about it. I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for. Like, it's just so beautiful and amazing.
That's amazing. You know what? I think you and I are going to have to talk a little bit after this show, because oddly enough, I've been thinking about my life, right? I mean, I am a production guy. I do video, I do photography, I do this stuff, and it's what I do because I love it, and that's what I do for work, and I do feel very blessed. But the last 10 plus years being immersed in the spiritual community, you start to rethink things, and the idea of living in service, right? It becomes very appealing, and you very quickly see those rewards, right? So that, like, you're going out there with the intention of sending healing out, right? But when somebody receives that healing and heals, and then comes back to you with that reflection of that healing that you gave them, you heal. You know what I mean? You feel,
Yeah.
that's raising the vibration, folks. That's raising the vibration of this planet.
Yes.
That's sending out ripples and getting them back. That's what they mean when they say it's better to give than receive. All of that stuff is real. Like Jessica was saying, she discovered about Reiki. Like it's real. Energy is real. I on the live stream of consciousness, that's kind of all I talk about, right? I talk about consciousness and energy and how it's connected. And I mean, I guess in a lot of my conversations, it's what I talk about, because I see that the world, there's a lack of understanding of that, right? For the most part, not everybody, not the spiritual community,
Yeah.
but outside of the spiritual community, there's kind of this like less understanding of what energy is and what it does and what it means to the individual, and how taking accountability is empowering, right, for the energy that you give, as far as like you said, anxiety and all of these emotions that you're feeling, and kind of taking that energy and taking that power into your own hands, is amazing. And I don't know where I was going with that. I had this great thought. Oh, when you start talking and all of a sudden you're like in this place and you're like, what was I going to say? I'm just really excited, Jessica, for you,
Thank you.
and for the spiritual community in general, especially, having joined this committee for this event that we're doing together. I feel like, that was something that was, you said something about it's a calling, right? You just kind of put yourself in these places that you feel like you're supposed to be, and then good stuff starts to happen. So that's really exciting.
Yes, I'm excited.
And I love the experiences that you've had with what you're doing that are validating, right? The idea that sound and autism, I mean, I never even thought of that. It really only makes sense, although I guess it could also go the other way, right? You could think that it might set somebody off, but
Yeah.
it doesn't, right? It doesn't. It seems to have a calming effect. And you said something interesting too about discovering like kind of like the binaural beats, right? I discovered binaural beats on YouTube years ago, and like you said, I don't think I've ever slept without them. Now
Yeah.
every night
Every
when
night.
every night I put one on. Theta Realms is one guy that I
Oh yeah,
listen
that's a
to.
good one.
Yeah. But it's just like it is true. I definitely notice a change in my personality, right? Like
Mhm.
previous to that and after that, I'm a much more calm, loving person, and my energy it just seems more in tune. So there's something to be said for that. um Cool. So let me pick your brain for a minute and ask you what you think about this. I mean, you may know or you may not, but um, the bowls are, again, we talk about hertz, right? So the hertz
Mhm.
is the actual frequency, and it's measured in numbers. 432 hertz is a standard frequency that is supposed to be kind of like like the frequency of the Earth. Is that the frequency of the Earth?
Yes.
432. So the Earth hums at a specific frequency, and
Mhm.
that's supposed to be the secret frequency. What do you think of the idea of the standard frequency being shifted to 440 hertz? Do you know anything about that? Is that
A little bit, but I always feel like I'm always open to, I feel like I am a student and I'm
Mhm,
also a teacher. I can teach people different things, but also students, I'm always open to learning. I have heard a little bit about it,
mhm,
so I'm
mhm,
always open to hearing new information.
mhm. Well, I don't know a super lot about it, but
Mhm.
as I was talking about cymatics, right? When you play a
Mhm.
certain frequency, the sand arranges itself into a pattern that is super beautiful, geometric, symmetrical pattern
Mhm.
at certain hertz, at certain frequencies. So
Yes.
at 432, it's a beautiful, perfect symmetrical pattern, but at 440, it's a little bit chaotic.
It
And
can get a
so,
little bit stronger for people, so that's where they can feel a little bit more higher emotions could arise, because it really helps to release. And the 432 is also connected to the heart chakra
mhm,
as well as the earth, so it's a very grounding experience too. And 258 hertz is connected to the root chakra and is also very grounding and is very good. And 528 hertz is also, the two are connected to the nervous system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely all different, varies, and everyone just has a different experience. But those are like a few different ones that I've worked with that I feel has been really powerful.
Yeah. It's excuse me. It's pretty amazing. I have, like I said, I haven't dove deep into it, what the frequencies mean, but I do know that it's very tied to like sacred geometry and math. To come up with those frequency numbers, there's a certain ratio, how they're all related to each other. And I love to look at sacred geometry drawings, which are basically representations of frequencies and things like that. Angelo is asking if you have a connection with water or the ocean.
Yes. So for me, I am an empath. I also am very intuitively connected. And I feel, for me personally, when I get down by the water, I feel like I could speak to the water. It sounds kind of crazy for people that don't understand it, but I truly believe that we are all energy. And I feel like I connect and can speak to the trees, to the water. So any time that I'm down by the water, I could just sense this overpowering and just know that I'm connected. So I'm always drawn to the water. And actually, I'm always drawn to going to the lighthouse and then to the water. So it's a very different experience. And we're all energy. Everything is energy. So you can connect to anything you feel you connect to. But the water, yes, I am very drawn to the water energetically.
Yes, as am I. Christopher Patty out there, who is a sound engineer and very versed in sound, says as the vibration of the earth is raised, 440 will be more harmonious than it has been in the past. See, and that's what I'm curious about, right? There's so much information about like good stuff and bad stuff and conspiracy theories and this and that. And like, I just want to know the truth, right? And so
Exactly.
that sounds like it makes sense, and I can feel intuitively into that, right? That raising the vibration is actually increasing the hertz, is actually the number of cycles during a second. So that would increase the number of cycles per second. And Christina's out there saying, me too, lighthouse girl here and ocean girl. So that pattern of being drawn to the lighthouse and then to the water is inherent. And what you say about water too is also super, super fascinating to me. I think water is kind of one of those things that represents energy in a certain way, right? Because of the way it flows, the way it's connected. A lot of the things that they're discovering, I don't know if you've seen some of this stuff out and about, but how water has a memory, right? So they kind of show water something and then they freeze it, and they're seeing like images in the water that kind of look like what they showed to the water. Or I'm imagining experiments with talking to the water, feeding the water certain vibrations of emotion, all of that physically affects the water. So I'm fascinated with that as far as how water is connected to us as a being. And there, Christopher Patty chimes in and says, yes, right on. Water is conscious. I absolutely believe that 1,000,000%. Wow. We're having a party. I told you it was going to be a party because I am.
I love it.
I'm loving this too. I speak to my water. Courtney, I speak to my water too. I pour myself a nice glass of water. I've got a lemon and some ginger in there, and I pour the water.
I love that.
I say I love you, and I drink my water, and I charge it up with that intention.
I always do the Reiki healing on the water.
Awesome.
And my sound bowls speak to the water when I'm at the ocean. So I always play the sound bowls for the water, and then I notice the pattern changes in the water when I'm at the ocean.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yes, that's very true. The goddess of the sea.
You're like a water goddess of sorts yourself. That's awesome. That's awesome. Chris says there's a great show on Gaia about water. I'm going to have to check that out. And I'm really, I want to do some of those experiments. I'm loving when I see the things with water. I love Dr. Yamoto, I think, or Emoto, his experiments with water, you know, talking to the water angrily and freezing it, and then talking to it lovingly and freezing it. And Chris is saying water holds and emits energy just like crystal. Yeah,
Exactly.
amazing, amazing. And Chris, I have always felt that crystals are actually beings of some sort. Like crystals hold energy and information in a very different way than we do, but in a similar way in that they're conscious, like you're saying. And what's so cool, I think, is we're living in an age right now where science is kind of coming up with all of these things and saying, hey, you know what, this may be right, you know what I mean, these things may actually hold water, not to you know, throw out a pun, but you know, yeah, put positive energy into water and it will heal you.
It definitely, especially baths. Baths are very grounding, cleansing. You could do cleansing showers, you could do cleansing baths, and you could do rituals around the full moon, new moon. For baths, there's very specific things you can look into that it's very cleansing. And sometimes what I do, even if it's cold, I just run to the ocean and I dive in, because you just have this full like outer body experience.
I love
If you
that.
just speak to it of just cleanse me, release of what I no longer need, and you dive in, it is, even in the bath, it is a full body immersive experience. And I'm very connected to my spirit guides and my past loved ones. And I've always had messages of just meet me at the water, meet me at the water, meet me at the beach. And I just go with my intuition and go for it. And then there's always such a profound experience at the water. So everyone should just go to the water and give it a try.
I love it. I love that. And you know what? I gotta say, I love what you said about every time you go to the water, like you just have to run into it, because I'm with you on that experience, right? So I can put myself in my mind right now at that moment, that moment of just being in the water, being immersed, completely surrounded, and that feeling that you're talking about. And every time I'm at the water, I'm tempted to do that. But I guess there's this human part of me that's like, ooh, it's a little cold, it's a little cold. And man, I applaud you for that. And I'm a little bit jealous, because I feel like I should just do that. Just say F it when I'm at the water and just run in and take that moment opportunity of being in Mother Earth's presence, you know.
Exactly.
What I mean? Because that's huge. That is really, really huge.
And it's also a part of taking control in your life. I also feel like life is so short, and like, why waste these moments on things that don't matter? Yes, you could hold space for something that's occurring, but like, you have these opportunities in front of you. And I feel like I've been held back and not been able to speak up about so many things in my life, that when the water was just in front of me, I was like, this is my time to take back my power and just, I'm in control of this moment. I always tell everybody, you can go through something and you can hold space for that and then move on. And no, I use an analogy of, sometimes when we're coloring, our crayons break, and that is out of our control, just like life situations. But we have that moment to choose to flip the page and start a new color, pick a new color. You may not know what that new color or what that next page is, and that's okay. But you have that moment to just take in that color, that new page, that new chapter. So when you have moments in front of you like that, for me with the water, I was like, I don't like the cold. I'm not big on the cold, but I just know that it's going to heal me and bring me something empowering. And it was a form of taking back my power for so many different reasons. And I just dove in. It was cold, but it was so worth it. So it was so profound. And I felt so cleansed of everything that I was dealing with in that moment. And that I had such enlightening experiences and realizations of like what I need to remove out of my life, what energy isn't working for me, people, places. And it was just like mind blowing. And now I'm like, well, it's snowing now, but I'm like, when can I go back to the water?
That's awesome. No, I really love that. And you've inspired me to kind of just say F it with the cold and just jump in. Yeah.
Whether it's the water, whether it's an experience that you feel uncomfortable, just give it a try. And if something doesn't work out, that's okay. But just give yourself that moment and just give yourself that power and just go for it.
Wow. Oh, you know what? I just got chills because the last 2 days I have been talking about comfort zones, and that is exactly what you just poked at mine with that, and the idea also of like ice baths, right? Isn't that kind of very similar? It's just taking the control, taking the mental control to be like, okay, this is a mental exercise. Yeah, certainly there's a physical aspect to it as far as the temperature goes, but mind over matter, you know, like
Exactly.
I can certainly deal with this, and a lot of people get a lot of a positive, you know, results out of doing ice baths. And again, I think the next time I'm at the water, I'm gonna, when I feel that fear, when I feel like, oh, it's too cold, I'm gonna remember this conversation. I'm gonna be like, nope, too cold for what? Too cold for healing, the amazing healing that I'm gonna feel if I just do it.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that.
awesome. That's awesome. And Christina was saying, oh my God, yes, meet me at the ocean. It's my church.
We could do beach days. We could rally up and make like soul cleansing days at the beach. And I'll just jump in.
Absolutely. No, that's great. And you know, you bring up a good point too. I feel like when energy and intention is brought in a group, I feel like it elevates that energy and intention, which is why I always loved going to group meditations, you know, with some of my favorite meditation leaders. You know, there's, you know, like we were saying earlier about Reiki, not everybody is going to resonate with everybody, but when you find that person that can do the thing that you need them to do in the frequency that you need them to do it, whatever it might be, you know, it's magic for sure. Which is great. Take me to the river, Courtney saying.
I might just rally up something upcoming for the spring, guys. Stay tuned. I might just come up with like a guided meditation on the beach, and then we're all just gonna take control and jump in the water. Stay tuned. I might come up with a fun idea.
I'm actually more than willing to say right now, Jessica, that it's not a question of might, it's a question of
it's gonna happen.
It's a question
I'm
of
big on making things
is.
happen. We have this opportunity together right now, and we're speaking about it. We're speaking it into existence, and we're gonna do it.
All right. So holding space, we will hold space at the ocean.
Yes.
Coming soon. Jessica and me, we're going to work on an event.
Yes, we will.
Holding space at the ocean. And Christopher says, groups, constructive harmonic interference patterns. I love Chris out there. Awesome. Nodes of positive energy. Christine, yes. Oh, I love this. I love this energy. We're riling everybody up. And you know, it is so good to conjure positive energy, to conjure love, to conjure connection, and then to just bathe in it. It's definitely a testament to what everything we're talking about, right? How powerful words are, how powerful thoughts are. That I think for me is part of this mission with doing these shows and kind of finding all of these people to talk to and share with other people and connect us all together. So again, I appreciate you being here. And Christy says we get to do this. It's, you know, it's so funny. It is so all about perspective, right? It's like I certainly have people who've said to me, you know, how do you do a show every week? You know, you have to do it every Thursday. And I say, no, I get to do it every Thursday. You know, I'm able to experience it now every Thursday, and every Tuesday is even better. You know, listen, there's certainly like a commitment to it, and I've got to arrange my schedule to it. But the whole idea of just show up, right? I want to show up because I know that every time I do this, I'm going to have a great conversation. Somebody in the audience is going to be inspired, and even just a smile. You know what I mean? You know, these days, even just a smile is a blessing.
If you could change one person's life, then that's what matters.
Absolutely. Just even just, you know what, I take it on a smaller level, but you're right. Like if I can make someone's day, right? Like that's my mission each day, right? Is to at some point during the day hear somebody say, you made my day. and then I'm done for the day. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. But that's very validating. You know what I mean? Just to know that you've shown up in the world to support and to make everyone's day, and then somebody to actually come back and say, you did it. You made my day. I love that. I love that.
That's so
All right,
true.
so we've got this soul care conference coming up in April. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do here on Long Island on a regular basis? I know you talked about a specific venue. I forget what the place that you said you work out of.
Yes, so I work out of two different places. I work out of the Grounded Soul in Sayville, and then I also work out of the Aphrodite's Loft in Wisconsin. So I offer one-on-one sessions of sound healing Reiki. I also hold Reiki circles and sound baths. And then I do one every first Tuesday of the month. I host Tranquil Tuesday at the Aphrodite's Loft. And that includes Reiki sound bowls. And I also hold private events when people need and want it. So there's always such profound experiences, but mainly I do weekly one-on-ones. And then I just have been expanding more and more, which now leads to the Soul Care Conference, which is going to be so powerful with everybody involved. And it's going to shift perspectives and change people's day. And I think it's going to be really empowering. And every week, every experience I have with a new client, new person is extraordinary. And I'm always like mind blown and like, so it's all about gratitude in the end of the day. And I think the upcoming Soul Care Conference is going to be huge, but that's what I do on a weekly basis, monthly basis. And then with my book involved, I do Color Me Calm classes. So I do it sometimes virtual, sometimes in person at the Aphrodite's Loft in Wisconsin. And I have everyone pay a small price and you get a book included, and you could sit there and pick whatever you want to color. And then I just play sound bowls as you color. And it's just so shifting, because then you have affirmations involved, connecting to your chakras, but also the vibrational frequencies balancing out the body. And it's such a fun experience. I love it. I love my coloring book, and I love my samples.
Jessica, it's so great to feel the love that you have for everything that you're doing and you're bringing to the world. It's really amazing, and like you said, it's such a blessing to be able to do that. Are you finding that like you're just showing up for this? Are you finding it just showing up back for you? Like this is affording you a living. This is becoming what you are.
Yes, I definitely think the expansion that I've had and the growth that I've had over this is just, it's definitely, and I know it's going to become bigger. I know my potential, and I have a lot of big plans coming, and I'll hint, maybe I have another coloring book on the way in time, so stay tuned. But there's so much expansion coming, and every experience I have, I learn more about myself, my power, and just holding space. Like, it's just so profound to hold space and witness everyone's different experiences and their growth. That is the most beautiful thing to witness in each session. And over time, the people that are reoccurring, their growth, them finding empowerment in themselves just from my sessions. And it's just so amazing. I see you, Courtney. I got you on a coloring book if you would like one.
There you go. Awesome. I love what you're saying so much. And I do feel like I agree with you. I can't tell you how much I love your enthusiasm for not only this event that we're doing, but what the event represents, right? I think that this is something too that's come up for me a lot, is that in the spiritual community, I think we often forget how it was when we weren't, right? Like, or we kind of were aware of, oh man, this is really easy if you let it be. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't. And I think part of the excitement for me, part of why I do these shows, part of, why I tell someone, just take a deep breath for a second, just breathe, just focus on that one breath, forget everything else. We're just going to breathe right now. Right. And then just after getting to someone to focus on their breath, just for 3 breaths, and seeing the change happen, right? It's so amazing to be able to help the world, not that there's like this ego part of it at all. It comes from the heart, because it's like, oh man, I remember what it was like when I didn't feel the power of my own.
Exactly. I feel like where I am now, it was my younger version self. I am giving back to people because it's what I needed and wanted. So I'm like fueling my inner child, and I'm being the person that I always wanted to have back when I was struggling. And now I'm bringing that together, and my experiences are bringing that together, and I could share my story and now help so many people. So it's like I'm the person that I needed as a child, as a teenager, and here I am turning 30 and changing lives one small step at a time. And it's just going to get bigger and better. And I'm very excited to do many more bigger things that are coming that I planned.
That's awesome.
And the Soul Conference will be, I highly recommend that everyone comes and you could sign up, it's early sign up, and it's just going to be profound. With everyone that's there is going to give you such a beautiful, powerful, amazing experience. And you can learn so much about yourself. And it's also soul care. So you're giving yourself some love and some good care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't want to put any pressure on you, put you on the spot, but do you happen to have a sound bowl nearby or something that you could just demonstrate a little sound for us?
I can grab it. Yes.
Yeah. If you want.
Hold on. It's literally right there. Hold on. I got you. You guys can hear the ding. Hold on.
Nice. So again, I don't know if any of you guys have experienced sound bowls or sound healing, but it's certainly a very calming, relaxing experience. And then if you can kind of close your eyes and get yourself into a little bit of a meditative state, you can certainly go somewhere. It's almost like, a psychedelic experience without the psychedelics.
This is my beautiful
Nice.
sound bowl. This is the 432 hertz, so it connects to the earth. What I can do.
Courtney's putting her headphones on.
Yeah, what I could do, I'll bring you guys down here for a minute.
Yeah.
Featured my chairs. I don't know if I can go through the mic. I'll try to put it as close as I can. Great. So like what I tell everybody to do is just take a minute, close your eyes, and just take an inhale, exhale, and just listen to it, and we'll see if it could echo through the mic. Is it echoing?
Yeah.
It gets kind of loud and then it vibrates out. And then you could even just like ding it sometimes. You can do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool, powerful thing. And if people really sit for a while and they really get going, you'll relax.
Totally. Yeah. Awesome. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I don't know if you know of oh my God, what's her name now? I'm forgetting her name. Hold on a second. I will remember. Here she is. Irene Athanasiou. I don't know if you know who she is.
Yeah, I've heard about her.
She's got a YouTube channel where she plays the metal, the Tibetan bowls.
Mm-hmm.
She literally, her videos are 10 hours. She plays.
I love those.
She plays the bowls for 10 hours. You wake up, she's sitting there smiling as you go to bed, and you wake up and there she is smiling. It's so great. It's so awesome to listen to. And she's got a couple of there are different tools. There's some of the more xylophone kind of things, and then the wind chimey kind of things.
Oh, I love the wind chimes. I want to get some. Oh my God. That's my goal.
So good. Courtney has a little bowl, and even her husband gets into it. And I think you got a new fan. Courtney Lopez says she loves you. So that's awesome. That's what I want to do. I want to expose everybody to everybody else, so that the people who are supposed to connect. And there you go. You've made my day, Courtney, just by being here and enjoying and receiving what we're putting out here. Jessica, you are awesome to talk to.
Thank you.
I do want you to not sign off after I sign off the show, because I do want to talk to you a little bit more. after this. But before we sign off, I always like to ask my guests if they have any parting words of wisdom, love, insight, a question for the audience or something. I don't know. Anything, just kind of as a little parting nugget.
Yes, I'm always open. If anybody has any questions, I'll answer. But the one thing that I really just want to emphasize on is each season that you are in your life, give yourself grace and love, because it's not always easy and we have good and bad days, but just make sure that you're loving on yourself and you're giving yourself space and grace in each season. And I always just say, give yourself gratitude. And I always say, give yourself a big hug on a daily basis and just say, thank you. Thank you for being me, and just love on yourself always. And I'm sending everybody so much gratitude and love, and I'm so happy that everyone joined in.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me here. It has been such a beautiful experience talking, and it's so exciting. I love it.
Awesome. Well, we'll have you back, and we'll see how the event goes. I'm going to probably see if maybe I can record some of it and document it so that we can put a little video together afterwards. But we will see you at the event. I'm going to put you in the green room and sign off. But like I said, don't go away.
Perfect.
So we'll see you soon. Thanks for coming, Jessica.
Right. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Awesome, folks. Jessica Specht, amazing soul. I love talking to people that you can feel their energy. You can feel how calm they are, grounded. You can feel how much they love themselves, and how genuine that is. And I think that's where we're all going, heading towards, which is great. Thank you, Jessica. You're such a bright light. What is the date of the event? Christina is asking. You know what? Let me present that. I did have it up before. Oh my goodness, I put it down. It's April something. Let me find. Oh my goodness, I closed that window. Christina, I am going to have to send you the banner. I know that Christina, I know you're on Long Island, so you would definitely benefit from the event. I will send it to you. Anyway, that is my Holding Space episode for February 11th. Pretty good, don't you think? I enjoyed it. Thank you guys for showing up so much. The next couple of weeks, I'm going to have some of the different speakers that are going to be at that event. Next week, I'm having Sarah and Lisbeth come, who also do sound, but they do something a little bit different. They both channel light language, and it's a sing-songy kind of delivery. It's beautiful. The first time I experienced Sarah Curley on video, I was watching a video of her talking light language, and I had an emotional response. I started crying, and I was like, what is this? And I had to go to the event. I was watching the video because a friend said, I'm having this woman at my event. I had to go to the event. I had an emotional response. So definitely come check out Sarah and Lisbeth next week. You guys will not be disappointed. And if you are on Long Island, you should definitely check out this event. It's going to be really, really amazing. Thank you guys for coming so much. If you liked what you saw, share it, tell your friends, subscribe to it, do all of those things that help me come back next week, that help YouTube and all of those algorithms know that there's something good going on. Yes, Courtney says, hit those hearts, subscribe, share, like the video, all of that stuff. Courtney also says that Jessica's radiating love. She loves the work she does, and prays that your son will have someone like her to help him when you can. Yes, Courtney has a son who is on the spectrum. And Christine says good night. And with that, I say good night, folks. Talk to you soon.